Hello everyone, I'm Louise.
And I'm Ifty.
And today we're going to share some information about CLiK Trading Education and some snippets from our classes which we teach with our traders.
And I'm going to go through some trade setups that we've recorded.
Excellent. So in terms of CLiK Trading Education then, we provide face-to-face and online trading courses, teaching aspiring traders to harness their skills, expand their knowledge, and progress in the different financial markets that we're going to take a quick look at. In terms of who we are, what we do and why we do it, we'll talk you through that, along with some information towards the end about our target audience. So who are we? Well, Ifty and myself have both been aspiring traders in the making from many, many years ago, but both took our journey along different paths, both going to university, myself studying business and then went into the banking industry, and Ifty went into the management accountancy industry once he completed his degree. But both of us still being interested in trading, discovered about 17 years ago that as individuals, we were actually able to learn and trade our own money, something that perhaps wasn't around previously. And really, we've embraced that and taken it to another level where we now want to really help others that are interested in becoming professional traders and using our skills and experience. So both Ifty and I work in the trading arena. Both of us actually do reviews for FX Street. And in addition to that, I've also completed monthly market reports for the ICE exchange, and I also work alongside some other trading organisations. So in terms of experience, we're here to provide hands-on trading experience for anybody who's interested in trading various financial assets. So in terms of what is trading and how do we go about making profits, then basically we're looking to make a profit from price movement. Now, it is a myth that people lose money when the market goes down, because providing we're on the right side of the market, we can actually make money regardless of whether the market is rising or whether the market is falling. And in a moment, we'll actually walk you through a couple of different trading positions, taking advantage of market movements to the upside and market movements to the downside. In class, we teach specific strategies and how to analyze markets accordingly to make sure you remain on the right side of the market. So in terms of trading, we look at buying and selling. Buying to go long, which means we're believing that the market's going to rise. Selling to go short, believing that the market is likely to fall. So again, we can do this on lots of different assets. It could be on a currency, such as looking at the value of the pound against the US dollar. We could look at trading things like commodities, which is looking at things like oil and gold, deciding on which direction we believe the market's going to go in. A lot of us today are probably familiar with trading stocks, which is purchasing company shares, for example, but not for long-term ownership, just purely for short-term gains. And again, we can trade things like the indices. So I'm sure some of you out there are familiar with the UK 100, where we can do similar things looking at the US markets, such as the US 500, also known as the S&P. So in terms of classes, we actually look at all these different asset classes. That's what really they're grouped as. So things like Forex, which is the world of foreign exchange, futures, which is kind of like buying and selling contracts against various instruments. So that could be the foreign exchange market, like I mentioned, the pound dollar, depending on whether you believe it's rising or falling. We could trade a contract against it. The only difference with the futures market compared to the spot is it doesn't only offer access to currency exchanges, but we could also look at oil and gold and gas and corn, wheat, copper, all different commodities, along with trading the indexes themselves. So much more wide when it comes to the different instruments. And then finally, there's something called options. Now, options is a slightly different language, but options really is about trading contracts too. And again, these contracts have different expiration dates, so it's not deliverable immediately, but at some point in the future. Now, what is interesting actually in the futures market is if you are trading certain commodities, it could result in you having real delivery of those at a future date. A lot of the instruments now, though, are actually with a monetary value. Therefore, at the end of the contract, rather than you taking delivery of 5,000 bushels of corn, you end up actually doing a financial exchange. So lots to learn in those kind of markets, hence why we are really willing and happy to teach people so they understand what assets they're trading properly. Now, going back to buying and selling financial instruments, we've got a couple of examples which Ifty will actually walk through in a moment. But just to briefly explain what buying or going long actually means. So this is a picture of a price chart for anybody who's not seen it. We have price along the right-hand axis, time actually goes along the bottom. And these different colours here denote whether a candlestick is closed higher or lower. And a candlestick shows a range in price movement. Now that could be over a day, a week, a month, 5 minutes. All of these charts will display something similar. We call it candlesticks. So these candlesticks create patterns or formations which are specific to us and how we would look at the financial markets when we're analysing and looking for trading opportunities. So in this case, you'll notice there's a couple of black lines wrapped around an area over here on the left-hand side and a red line underneath. Well, this actually denotes where we would be interested in accessing this market to go long, which means we're buying, expecting the market to rise. And the red line is where we're proven wrong. So if the market doesn't go in our direction and indeed falls, we don't want to risk more than we can afford to lose. So we put a protective stop, so to speak, against our trading account. And that way we don't lose more than our trade plan or what we already have decided to risk. So in terms of this position, we call it going long. You'll notice the market dropped into this area and then actually this trade triggered and worked in our favour. So red candlesticks are typically showing that the market is closing lower than it opened and green candlesticks closing higher than it opened. So when it hits our area, we want to see those strong green candles. Without further ado, let's take a little look at one of these trades and Ifty's going to walk through with you. So this is a buy to go long on the Aussie dollar futures.
So yeah, you can see once it starts playing, you can see the zone here that we set up. So we're looking to go long there, stop loss is there, and that's your targets. So then it executed. So it's gone in, it's hit target 1, target 2. We've managed that trade, moved our stop to entry. So whatever happens now, it's a risk-free trade. Yeah, and just let it play through. It's nearly finished. So that was a long trade.
And these are the types of trades that we actually show as part of our course, not only inside the course and where our students will be practicing live and watching us demonstrate how to find these types of setups, but also these are example trades which Ifty and myself would prepare and post on our website and on various different YouTube channels. I use the Royal We because actually Ifty is the star of the show when it comes to doing the trade setups and posting on Instagram and TikTok and everything. So in terms of going long, that was one of those examples. And we also have an example of going short. Now, going short sounds a little bit strange because how do we sell something that we might not own? Well, indeed, it depends on the asset class, but this particular trade is the US dollar against the yen, so probably a good one to explain. So again, we found an area, and again, this is all about looking at candlesticks and different formations. In this particular scenario, you've got a drop, an area of basing, and then you can all see a very strong drop away in price. So this is telling me there's some selling pressure up near the origin of that drop, and this is what we want to take advantage of. Now, selling short the dollar yen simply means I'm selling the dollar to buy the yen. So when you come out of a short sell in this type of scenario, to close the trade, you actually buy back the dollar and sell the yen. So you kind of do the reverse to close your position. So a little bit different, and I know it sounds a bit strange for those of you that are brand new to trading, but of course these are things that we would explain in class because they're key elements, so we make sure we know what we're doing. So again, this is called selling short. Again, we have a zone, so what we call a sell zone, a protective stop loss in case things don't go in our favour. We want to get out, risking only what we can afford. And again, we have targets. So how do I make money? Well, as long as prices moves lower in the direction where we're expecting prices to go, and this is where we set our targets, we close out at those different points. So again, it's all about managing our risk, maximizing our profits. So this is a short sell, and again, Ifty's going to share an example with you of a short sell on the S&P futures.
Yeah, like Louise said, this is the S&P futures, which is the 500 US main stocks. And so you can see here, we're setting up the trade to go short. That was quick. So it's hit target, and you can see, there you can see it's hit target there. And then we move our stop to entry. So it means now it's a risk-free trade. And then you can see here, it's dropped even further. That's our second target. And I think on this one, it did actually come back up and hit our entry, but we still took 2 targets out there. So it was a great trade.
So again, these are different rules, and experience gives you the opportunity how to learn how to manage trades, how to protect your risk, and of course, how to understand the market context in order to find the most appropriate position to take at that moment in time. So again, the very simple terms are going long is we're buying an asset to sell to close in the future to make a profit. And going short simply means we're selling an asset, expecting it to go lower, where we would buy to close at the future or in a future date. So in terms of our education then, we offer 5-day classes, and that gives people the opportunity to really get to know us and basically to understand how to read the markets, from the very simple thing of understanding candlesticks, how the market works, the context, formations, trend, finding those trade opportunities, and really getting the opportunity to practice live with 2 real live trading experts. So again, it's not just learning from a textbook, it's actually learning from the live markets, and Ifty and myself showing you how to find trades and place those trades and then manage those trades once prices come to your zones. And again, we look at the results of that over the course of the week, lots of hands-on experience. And then when traders leave the class, there's lots of ongoing support available through Discord, WhatsApp, and our member areas. And finally, in terms of additional resources, we do have the opportunity for guests to come along and speak to our group. And this could again be through one of the social media channels. It could be Discord, etc. So in terms of the educational benefits, then basically it's a 5-day, very structured course. Trading is very logical, therefore you're given a process. We take that process, break it down into bite-sized chunks for people to learn how to follow those rules and those processes, so that when they go home, they can repeat that over and over again. Again, we use real-world strategies in the real live markets. And again, we have that very supportive community. And you'll see here, this is just a screenshot of the different people in our trading community. And you'll see posting different trades where the positions are in, some in winning positions, some losing, but that's the way trading works. Again, understanding trader psychology is a big thing when it comes to trading, because it's all about mastering the mental game as well as actually understanding a process. So again, all of us go on a similar journey in terms of becoming a trader and really understanding how to position ourselves in the markets. And psychology is a big one because we're using real money, of course. So just to wrap up, it's a 5-day intensive learning experience. The first few days is all about education, building up that knowledge, sharing our skills to help you develop your own skills, and then giving you the opportunity to put what you've learned into practice. In terms of access and support, we're dedicated to help people. So there's ongoing support through our Discord and WhatsApp community. And again, that actually happens practically 24/7, where we all help and assist each other. And it's great to see our colleagues or students thrive.